Okay, we just had the nominations revealed for Game of the Year and several other categories at the Game Awards that, of course, is going to be taking place next month in December, which I'll be streaming here, and it should be fun. Every year we watch them, and it's generally a good time. They have some cool reveals, and then, of course, at the end of it, we get to see what game won just the overall Game of the Year. It is pretty fun to do. So we had the nominations revealed today, and I'll admit, a few of them surprised me a bit for the Game of the Year awards. I'll kind of go over my thoughts on that, and we'll even pick, at least my pick for Game of the Year overall, and what I think will probably win. So I'll have a pick for which one I think should win, and then which one will probably win. So let's go through all of this here to get you guys up to date, and I'll also leave a link down if you want to go ahead and also go through and vote just to the page we'll be looking at. First today, though, we do have a sponsor, which means we also have a giveaway, so stay tuned after the sponsor spot so you can see what that giveaway is. Today's video is sponsored by Raycon and their latest E25 wireless earbuds. These earbuds connect to your phone through Bluetooth and provide high-quality sound while being extremely discreet. I like that there are no stems or wires sticking out of the bottom and are super comfortable even when exercising. Recently, I've been using them to edit videos on my laptop, and it's great having wireless earbuds that are small enough to travel but still put out clean sound and powerful bass. The case that comes with the earbuds is also a good way to store them, and after dropping it a few times, I can confirm it's pretty durable as well. Pair that with several colors to choose from and a price that is half of other premium wireless earbuds, and it's an easy decision to make. Click the link in the description below to get access to Raycon's Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals. I can't even tell you how good the deals will be. You'll just have to check them out on the site for yourself. Once again, thanks to Raycon for sponsoring the video. So what we're going to be giving away today is a copy of a game from the Game of the Year nominations. You can pick the game that you want, and then you'll just have the game mailed out to you. We're going to do two different winners, and there's a link down below to a Twitter post where you can enter to win. And at least all the games of the Game of the Year awards are good, right, at that category. So you can pretty much pick any one from there, and we'll get that sent out to you. So let's go over the games, the categories, the nominations, all of that. And I'll do my best to pick some of them, even if it's not a category that I'm as into. And we're kind of starting with that right away, which are Best VR/AR Game. Looking at this, I guess I would probably pick, me personally, Beat Saber, because that's like one of the only real VR games that I've played this past year in depth anyway. Blood and Truth, a lot of people said was pretty good, and then of course they added VR to No Man's Sky. I think it's probably going to come down to most likely either Blood and Truth or Beat Saber, and I think it would probably end up going to Beat Saber, although I will say, looking at Blood and Truth, that was a bit more, I would say a bit more complete overall with everything in it, but Beat Saber's pretty fun. Let's scroll up here to Strategy Game. This one I think is pretty easy. I think it's going to be Fire Emblem Three Houses, but it's Age of Wonders, Planetfall, Anno 1800, Fire Emblem, Total War, Tropico, and Wargroove. Wargroove was also very good, but I would have to give it to Fire Emblem if I had to take a pick here. And we're going to come back to Fire Emblem a little bit later as where it may have been missing from. And if we go up here, we have Sports and Racing Game. We have Crash Team Racing, Dirt Rally 2.0, eFootball, Football Pro, Evolution Soccer 2020 F1, and FIFA 20. I'm going to go with Crash Team Racing on this one. I really liked Crash Team Racing. And, the sports games, does FIFA need to win? It's FIFA. No, I'm going to go with Crash. Crash was really, really cool. I liked Crash a lot. Yes, it is a remake technically, but we're going to come back to that as well as we get further up here if a remake should win. Interesting. Score and music, we have Cadence of Hyrule, Death Stranding, which Death Stranding was nominated for quite a bit, actually. Devil May Cry 5, Kingdom Hearts 3, and then we have Sayonara Wild Hearts. I'm going to go with Cadence of Hyrule just because I liked some of the remixes that they did. And, of course, the whole game kind of had to have that music. Like, it all ran around that music, and I really liked it. I think it was a really cool take on some old tunes that were it was really fun to listen to overall. Then we have role-playing game. We have Disco Elysium, Final Fantasy 14, Kingdom Hearts 3, Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and The Outer Worlds. I think Disco Elysium is going to win this category, but I really like The Outer Worlds. Final Fantasy 14, I'm not really into Final Fantasy 14, the MMO. I'm just not. And then Kingdom Hearts 3 I thought was good. I'll say good to above average. I'm gonna go with Disco Elysium winning this one, but I would actually myself choose The Outer Worlds. I like The Outer Worlds a lot. That was a very good game. Performance. We have Ashley Birch, Courtney Hope, Laura Bailey, Mads Mikkelsen, Matthew Peretta, and Norman Reedus. I'm going to go with Norman Reedus, and I think he's also just going to straight up win this one. I think that's an easy one for him to win. Bring him on stage, that whole thing. It's going to be an interesting day or night, I guess, that night, because I think Death Stranding is going to be around quite a bit. I mean, it's nominated for a lot, but I think it's going to win more awards than people were thinking originally. But Norman Reedus, I think, out of everything here, makes sense just overall in the game. And, of course, his performance and, yeah, bringing him out on stage. Why not? From there, we have ongoing game, Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. I think it's going to come down to, I don't want to say Fortnite, I think it's going to come down to Final Fantasy 14 and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six has really been climbing consistently over the past few years, and I think that has a good chance, but Final Fantasy 14 has also been releasing some pretty good content. I know the last expansion was very well received. I'm going to say Final Fantasy 14 will probably take this category, but I'm not really as into a lot of the ongoing games here. Narrative is, they say, for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. I think this one's straightforward. However, some people may go with a Plague Tale. So we have a Plague Tale, Control, Death Stranding, Disco Elysium, The Outer Worlds. I'm going to say Death Stranding. I think this one's pretty straightforward. The storytelling in Death Stranding is the reason people deliver packages in that game, even if they think the game itself is boring. You play through it to see that story. I think that's pretty straightforward, and most people are going to go with Death Stranding because that was like the biggest strength of that game. I do know a lot of people liked Plague Tale in a sense. I know people also like Disco Elysium, but I think Death Stranding's presence here is a bit too strong. Then we have multiplayer game, which is for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design. That includes co-op, massive multiplayer experiences. And what's really funny is Tetris 99 is in here. I almost said Death Stranding's in here. If it had multiplayer, it might have been like non-asynchronous multiplayer. Tetris 99 in there is pretty funny to see. And you know what? Tetris 99 is pretty original, so that might have a better chance than people realize, but it also is next to Apex Legends, Borderlands 3, Call of Duty, and Division 2. If I have to look at these across the board, I'm going to say Borderlands 3. I didn't like Modern Warfare's maps that much, and honestly, some of the online was hurt because of that. I think it's going to come down to either Borderlands 3 or Apex Legends, and I'm going to give a slight nod to Borderlands 3 for multiplayer game. Let's see what we have next is mobile game. Not as into a lot of the mobile stuff. I would say that Call of Duty Mobile will probably take it just because of how popular it is, and just overall, it has so many downloads. I think it has like over 100 million downloads already. But I'm unfortunately not as into the mobile games, so I can't give a very good guess on this category. Independent game, there's Baba Is You, Disco Elysium, Katana Zero. It's cool to see Katana Zero in there. Outer Wilds, which is better than I think a lot of people realize. Outer Wilds is actually a pretty good game. I think it's on Game Pass right now too. And then Untitled Goose Game. I said I was going to pick it if it was here. It's here. I'm going to pick Untitled Goose Game. I'm just going to give it both nods, the whole thing. Get the goose on stage. Jeff even kind of made reference to Goose Game at the end of the premiere that they did when announcing these. Give it to Untitled Goose Game. Going up from there, Games for Impact, Concrete Genie, Grease, Kind Worlds, Life is Strange 2, Sea of Solitude. This is another tough one to pick because it's for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. I liked Concrete Genie a lot, and that was more about kind of bullying and what was going on even in that bully's life to get them to that point to where they would bully people. And it also kind of told a tale a bit of loneliness and imagination. I liked Concrete Genie, but I do know Grease and Sea of Solitude really dealt with some pretty serious stuff. I would, just because it's me, I like Concrete Genie, I would pick that, but I do think Grease will probably win this one. Then we have Game Direction. That's awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. That's Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, and Outer Wilds. Outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. I think Death Stranding is going to win this one. I think that might annoy some people, but yes, I do think Death Stranding will win outstanding creative vision. I mean, just think about that in general, right? I have no idea how Resident Evil 2 wins this, considering it's a remake for a creative vision, when for the most part they were building it off of a game that already existed, technically. So I I feel like it's probably Death Stranding, just overall. That's probably the most creative out of the bunch here, so that would make sense to me anyway. Then we have Fresh Indie Game, recognizing a new independent studio that released its first game in 2019, so it has to be their first game. We have Zaum, Nomada Studio, Dead Toast Entertainment. That's for my friend Pedro. I like my friend Pedro. Mobius Digital for Outer Wilds, Mega Crit, that's for Slay the Spire, and House is up there. Interesting. I wonder if they would give it to House over Mobius Digital for Outer Wilds. I feel like they're probably going to pick Mobius Digital, but hey, you know what? Get House up there. Why not? Let's do that. Although you might see Nomada Studio up there for Greece. But House would be funny to see up there. Fighting game, Dead or Alive 6, Jump Force, Mortal Kombat 11, Samurai Showdown, or Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think this is as straightforward as it gets. I think it has to be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It has the most content, it's the best rated, and I think at this point it's the most played overall out of all of them. So that one's pretty, I think that one's easy. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I don't even think that's much of a question at this point. Mortal Kombat 11 might give it a slight run for its money, but Super Smash Bros. Ultimate should be it right there. Family game is all Nintendo. Nintendo basically just wins this category by default, but Luigi's Mansion 3, Ring Fit Adventure, Super Mario Maker 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Yoshi's Crafted World. You might see Smash Bros. Ultimate take it, but really, to me anyway, Super Mario Maker 2 makes sense as a family game for the best game appropriate for family play. Luigi's Mansion 3 did have co-op, but I can see why Mario Maker 2 might be considered one that you can play more with the family when you're building levels and everyone's playing them. But out of these, if I had to pick one, I would go with Luigi's Mansion 3, mostly because I think Super Smash Bros. Ultimate may win another award that we're going to get to soon. Either way, though, Nintendo's going to win that category. Audio design, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Control, Death Stranding, Gears 5, Resident Evil 2, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. That is recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. I'm going to go with Call of Duty Modern Warfare because I think they did a great job with overall sound when it came to the weapons you were using, the environments, and really different things I'll say you would encounter in the game. I think they spent a lot of time on that aspect alone in the game, so I'm going to go with Modern Warfare on that one. Okay, now we're getting towards the end. We have Art Direction for Outstanding Creative and/or Technical Achievement in Artistic Design and Animation. That's for Control, Death Stranding, Grease, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Sekiro, and Link's Awakening is in there. I'm a little surprised that for artistic design and animation that they didn't do anything with Luigi's Mansion 3. I think that has some of the best animation this year, but I'm actually going to go with Link's Awakening. I will. I think it was different enough. It was strange enough. And yeah, I know it has some performance issues, but if you just take it as its art direction, I think they did a very good job with it to recreate that game in this very interesting art style. Otherwise, it would probably have to come down to either Link's Awakening, Grease, or Sayonara Wild Hearts. The other ones, while Control does have an interesting art direction, they just don't Control, Death Stranding, or Sekiro just don't feel as creative as the other three. But I am going to give a nod to Link's Awakening for that one. Then we move on to action-adventure game. That's Borderlands 3, Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, or Link's Awakening. Oh, and then Sekiro as well. Best action-adventure game. That's the best action-adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. That is interesting. I feel like I want to go with Borderlands 3 for this one. They do mention puzzle solving, though, and you know what? That is tough. It might go to Resident Evil 2. This is a traversal, though, so Death Stranding, you know, you do traverse quite a bit in that one. Puzzle solving, though, isn't really Death Stranding's strong suit. I'm between Borderlands 3, Control, or Resident Evil 2. I think I'm going to lean, for this one anyway, I think I'm going to lean towards Borderlands 3. That's what I'm going to go with, is Borderlands 3. Then we have Best Action Game. That's Apex Legends, Astral Chain, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Devil May Cry 5, Gears 5, and Metro Exodus. I am going to go with Devil May Cry 5. I think this is between Devil May Cry 5 and Astral Chain. And I feel like I want to go with Devil May Cry 5 for this one, although it is so close. It is like neck and neck, I think, between Astral Chain and Devil May Cry 5. Call of Duty might end up getting most votes, though, so I'll keep that in mind. But I'm going to go with Devil May Cry 5 on this one, although I do think it is a coin flip between DMC 5 and Astral Chain. And here we are. Let the controversy begin. Let the arguments, the debates all begin, because Game of the Year looks different than I thought it would. This category, the nominations, not what I was expecting at all. Control. Yeah, Control is in there. We're going to come back to that one. Death Stranding. I'm not surprised Death Stranding is there, but I think some people will be. Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate gets the nod. That is interesting. And then The Outer Worlds. That is another one that surprised me a bit. The ones that I am not surprised to see here are Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, and Sekiro. The reason I'm surprised for Smash Bros. Ultimate is because I remember the Game Awards forgot about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at one point, and it wasn't even in the RPG category. It missed the cutoff, but it was very similar to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at that time. So I kind of thought they might forget about Smash Bros., which would have been weird to think about considering how critically acclaimed the game is, and it's still going. Smash Bros. Ultimate probably could have been part of Best Ongoing Game because it's still getting content now consistently, but I'm glad to see it's in there. The other one that surprised me is Control. I must have played a different game than a lot of these critics because I thought Control was average, maybe slightly above average. It never crossed my mind to be Game of the Year. Like, even a little bit. Not even once. I am very surprised that Remedy got a game in the Game of the Year category, specifically Control. I don't get it. That's just me. I'm not saying people might not vote for it. I think there are better games that could have been. I think Devil May Cry 5 could have been there. I think Fire Emblem Three Houses could have been there. And I think you could have even put Astral Chain above Control. But I am surprised that that is the game that they went with, because I think it's jurors or critics that pick these categories or the games in these categories. I didn't really see anyone else talk about Control after the week that it came out, and it was not even on the sales charts. So I don't get this one at all. Like, when I say not on the sales charts, I mean it wasn't even that popular, it seemed, with people who are playing it, so or even thought about buying it. Very strange. The Outer Worlds surprised me. I'm glad that it's there because I like the Outer Worlds. I think Obsidian did a good job with it. It's what we all wanted from a Fallout game. But I thought it was going to get snubbed a bit for getting anywhere near Game of the Year. I'm not surprised to see Sekiro there. That makes sense to me. That's a critically acclaimed game. A lot of us were talking about it for like the month or two after it came out. And it's a very good From Software game. Resident Evil 2, not surprising to me at all, except keep in mind, this is a hotly debated topic. If a remake can win Game of the Year, I think it can, and I think that's because it is definitely blurring the lines of a remake versus a brand new game based on an older one, to the point where it feels like a brand new game, right? I mean, yes, it's still a remake, but it's so high quality, top notch, that I feel like it can separate itself from other remakes kind of around it. And then Death Stranding. Is anyone really surprised that Death Stranding's in Game of the Year? No. The thing about Death Stranding is I think it is a good game to nominate for what the Game Awards is trying to achieve, which is be a more serious Oscar-like show, because it has, real actors in it. It's something they can put, even if it doesn't win, if they keep flashing people like Norman Reedus, of course, up there, and others, I don't know if they think it's taken more seriously or something. I'm not sure, but maybe to them, pulling in the actors is good enough. And it's like, hey, even if it doesn't win, we got to have that cool scene where Norman Reedus won his performance of the year, and he was up on stage accepting. And Death Stranding was nominated for so many categories at this point that it will probably win the most awards out of this entire show. That might not sit well with a lot of people, but that's just where we are right now with it. So we'll see there. I am between two different games for winning Game of the Year. I'm between Resident Evil 2 and I'm between Smash Bros. Ultimate. I do struggle going back and forth between them. I want to pick Resident Evil 2, mostly because I'm not as into Smash Bros., but I can at least look at Smash Bros. And understand the amount of quality, time, effort, and work, and just value in it. But I really liked Resident Evil 2. So my pick, when I vote, is going to be for Resident Evil 2. But I completely get it if Smash Bros. Ultimate wins, and you know what? I think it should. But I am going to go with Resident Evil 2 for this one, because that's just the game that I like the most, pretty much out of this category. Sekiro's up there as well. But yeah, I'm going to go with Resident Evil 2 on this one. But let me know which ones you guys think should win down below. It's going to be a fun couple of weeks going forward here until the show takes place. And we'll see what everyone thinks is going to win Game of the Year. What do you think should have been nominated for Game of the Year? Do you think we're missing some stuff here? Because I do think looking at the Game of the Year nominations that we are missing something like a Fire Emblem up there. Very surprised myself that it wasn't even nominated. Bit strange. Control is the one that sticks out to me, but hey, maybe you like Control and maybe you're going to go vote for it. But let me know down below, guys. Make sure you like the video on the way out if you enjoyed it. Dislike if not. And I'll see you guys next time.